The year is up, and it's time for the final vlogs. We're starting with the newsletter this year because, well, I kind of had a 2-month gap of videos, and it was kind of an ordeal to get through that. And you might be wondering what happened, or you might not be. Probably not be, but a couple of you were wondering where I was, and were happy that I came back, so that actually makes me really happy that people care about the videos I make and whatnot. Speaking of the videos and whatnot, I've wrote down a couple stats and whatnot, as the usual. We've had 167,978 views. We're on that. I don't know, I didn't look to see what the one before that was. It's probably a lot, but I did, well, almost check. It feels like it doubled, but the subscribers are 218. So I feel like that, like, doubled in the last year. And to those who are new here / still here, thank you. It makes me happy to know that people actually like my stuff, or at least tolerate me. I'll take tolerate. Right, so what's been up this past year? Well, along with a couple series that have gone by, we had the 2-month dark period, and that gets into some technical stuff. I'll hold that off till the end of the video. Should be like in the next 5 minutes or so, because we aren't going through a lot of video stuff. We had kind of long playlists for video series, starting off with, and continuing still to next year, Divinity 2. We enjoy Divinity 2. Very much so. We're at a point with Divinity 2 where it feels like it's going to end next year. Like, I think the game is so densely packed level by level that it's not going to take as long as the first Divinity did, aka 4 or so years, if we all remember the joke we made. But this one's probably going to take 2.5 years, maybe, because I don't remember if I started it this year or last year. I think it was this year. I'm not entirely sure of remembering, but I never really am. So yeah, Divinity 2 still going on, still going strong. We are maybe in the end game on that, so look forward to figuring out and finding out how that ends next year. I'm actually really excited to do so. Although that wasn't the only game we started the year with, or continued the year with, in that fact. We started off with a brand new game, Prey. I love Prey. That thing is on my top 5 games of the year list, or 7. I haven't figured out if it's 5 or 7 this year. You'll figure it out in the next couple days. I'll figure that in the next hour or so. Prey was awesome, absolutely awesome. Didn't look good. I know. I hate that it didn't. It was. I had to make it run smoothly. I had to make it so small, like how I did Dark Souls 3. But Dark Souls 3 it looked even worse. For some, no, not for some reason, because I had to turn the resolution down to low and have it in the 48 480 by 6 whatever window. Prey was kind of like that as well. I had to have it like in the smallest window possible. Almost actually that small. Actually, but I still loved the hell out of it. The story was great. The gameplay was great. If the comedy was great too. I actually think that was one of my better Let's Plays. Just you know, humble bragging and whatnot. Unfortunately, though I wanted to make a highlights video, the HAL crash of 2018 kind of took away the highlighted videos that I wanted to chop up a little bit. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I have a backup, but I have no idea how I'm getting into that. So don't expect it, but I want it. But don't expect it. During the Prey Let's Play, we had a little bit of an interlude with another Pathfinder game that I ran. If you aren't familiar with, well, the games that I run / Pathfinder. It's like D&D, but extremely more complicated and more possibility-wise kind of thing. Me and my friends prefer it. We make jokes. Well, Glenn mostly makes jokes about how Dungeons & Dragons 5e is terrible. And also, now the new version of Pathfinder is also terrible. So, we're going to probably stick with the something. I don't know. But either way, I had the idea for Pathfinder Heist, or the Thief's Game, as it was called in the game. It was great. I got great results, like it's a test or something. Well, technically it was kind of a test. I put my players in a really interestingly different situation, and I think it turned out really, really well, really fun. Yeah, no, I think it was really good, and if you liked the other Pathfinder one-shot games, you'll probably like this one too. If you haven't seen them before, if you have seen them before, if you haven't seen them before, check them all out. They're in like the one playlist. You go start to finish, takes you through all the one shots. It was a great little one. I also, while I did say last year that I had a project in the works with Pathfinder, that one's been put on the back burner for just another year or so. I want to get it just right. Just right. I have the vision for it. It just has to be like just perfectly right. I want to do stuff with it. I want to do stuff to it. Make it all good. Also, there was a slight journal behind the scenes thing. So when I ever do put it out, you'll know the dates and times and whatnot in those. So you'll see the gap of how long it took. Which is purposefully why I did it, but still, a little embarrassing, but I just want to be perfect. So after Prey, of course, and while Divinity was still going on, I like to, if you don't realize already or don't know, I like to intersperse or interlace different types of games. So if one game's actiony, the next playthrough I want to do is more puzzly or adventure-y, and so on and so forth. Divinity is a big, brawling, sprawling adventure turn-based strategy, so I'm hopefully going to, when that's done, interlace it with like a more action-y sort of game. That's what happened with Prey. Prey was first-person, story-driven, shooter, bang, first-person, mystery kind of story thing. I wanted to interlace that afterwards with something else, and around that time, Darkest Dungeon had their newest update. And for better or worse, I decided to, with the Crimson Curse DLC added, because I bought it at that time because it was actually quite cheap, and I thought, worth the price on that. But also the whole Crystal line thing update, I really, really liked. I got into that, and I'm like, I want to do another Darkest Dungeon Let's Play kind of permadeath thing. Because if you didn't see the first permadeath that I did, this was the second Darkest Dungeon permadeath that I have done with the new 2 DLCs, because the first one didn't have that. Plus, Darkest Dungeon at that time had a couple revamps and reworks of their a couple mechanics, or added some things, tweaked abilities and whatnot. So I thought, okay, the game is fairly different from what I had done previously, so another Darkest Dungeon permadeath sounds great. Didn't go as smoothly as I wanted it to, I will be completely honest. Not the best series I did. I still think it was okay, but if you wanted to watch a permadeath of Darkest Dungeon, you should watch the first one. I didn't feel like the second one really had anything different or much to give anyway, but the ending was still kind of funny. So, you know, if you want to watch it, go right ahead. I don't blame you if you don't want to. Finally, as we close off the year, we are continuing with a rather impromptu Let's Play playthrough. Graveyard Keeper came up. I saw a couple videos about it, and I really, really liked it. I really liked the look, and I was like, I want to play that. So I bought it, and I'm like, you know what I want to do? I'm ending the Darkest Dungeon Let's Play. let's jump into Graveyard Keeper and just go with that. And I'm enjoying it. It's a little slow, I will give that to that. I think it would have been probably better if I knew more things going into it, but I still am enjoying it. We are at somewhat of a slow standstill at the moment in that game, but hopefully I did do a little wiki looking just to see if I can push things along, and hopefully the donkey delivers god damn corpses to me. I hate that guy. I don't know if you've seen the video or even if I put that video out, but I hate him now. I just hate him, that communist fuck. But yeah, no, Graveyard Keeper, it's good. I'm enjoying the game immensely. I don't know how you're enjoying the Let's Play of it, but I still think that's going to probably continue on, maybe finish in next year, depending on if it keeps going this slow or if I'm not making much progress in it. I may stop and do something different. I don't know. I don't want to, being that I like to start and finish a Let's Play. I like to think that I'm not one of those Let's Players that starts a playthrough of something and gets bored and doesn't finish, where everyone's like, oh, I wanted to see the rest of it. Nah, I didn't get enough views. No, I wanted complete games. That's why I finished the first Divinity. I want to complete the game so it's full on the channel. I may take that one on a hiatus if it doesn't move quick enough. I might have to go, like, I might have to play it a little bit behind the scenes to just get things moving a little bit faster. And I already do that to get resources, but I don't know. I'll figure that out next year. But so far, we're okay with it. Speaking of next year, I've got a couple ideas in the works. And because Hal got his little facelift, I might be able to pull a couple games off that I wasn't able to before. I'm actually really excited. I have one game that I really am looking forward to playing, and hopefully I can get that in kind of the way I'm working. I'm working on a format for it. You'll figure. Trust me, I'll tell you what it is in the next in the next couple videos, because it's in the top 5 of my games I've played this year. You'll know what I'm working on. But I am trying to figure out the formula to make it not the samey kind of thing that other people may have done with it. I want to make it informative but also fun. I'm working on some stuff. I'm trying to tweak it. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to edit it and whatnot. I really want it to go off really well because I really love the game. So stick tuned for possibly the announcement of that later on. We also have other games that I would love to do permadeaths in. They're, again, in the top 5 this year. You can tell when I really like a game when I want to make a Let's Play of it or a permadeath of it. So whenever the top 5 games video comes out, more than likely those are probably going to be videos or series on the channel. But other than that, more Flash Player. Flash Player was going really well. More people are watching it. I'm finding so many more games. Unfortunately, the Purge of 2018 kind of wiped out my bookmark file. I like to be organized, and whenever I find something I really like, I bookmark it so I don't forget it. Unfortunately, bookmarks and things like that kind of get erased when you have to reboot a computer and it uninstalls it uninstalls the programs and completely wipes it, kind of, sort of. So all of those bookmarks I had are gone. That is I want to say almost 300 plus Flash game bookmarks just gone, and I'll have to either re-find them or something. I'm starting anew, but I'm going to try and do it a little bit differently to save on space and whatnot. Because originally I had bookmarked games I wanted to play, but then after I've made the video, I take that bookmark and put it in the played it file, so that I also had a reminder of, oh, I've played this game before, even though I could just do that with the videos. But then I also had oh, if the link to this game is lost or broken, I have the backup to re-put it into the video, which happened to a couple games, unfortunately. So that's going to be fun in later years whenever that stuff starts breaking down. I have no idea. But either way, Flash Player still going on strong. We're going to probably hit the 300th. Let's see, we hit the 100th, 200th. I think we're going to hit the 300th video series sometime early next year, in the next couple months. I don't know if I'm going to do what I did last year and do porn games. Again, The Purge kind of ruined that. I found some new ones, but I'm also thinking of doing that Flash Player program video that I've been thinking about. Because for people who want to make Flash games but don't know where to start, these are good programs to do it in, or if you want something specific kind of thing. It's been a thought in my head for a while, and I think that one would also make a really nice special. So, whichever one I do, I have no idea. So, I've alluded to it enough now. Let's talk about the blackout, aka Hal's surgery / facelift / internal organs transplant. The dark time, as we will now call it, and forevermore remember it, was a very unexpected thing. See, Hal here is, let's see if I can remember what it is. It has it labeled here. Is an HP Pavilion HPE series, minor numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, which was interesting. But nevertheless, for tech people, you're going to get enough details. For people who don't really care about tech, I'll give you the general lay-around, workaround stuff. Basically, what happened, I want to say October 5th, it was a Thursday, probably when the last video before the blackout happened. It was night. I was playing on my computer, talking with friends, playing, video games and whatnot, and then suddenly Hal turned off. Or blue screened, more specifically. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. I mean, it's Hal. He was kind of an asshole. I say was because he's doing better now. Yes, you are a good computer. You are a good computer now. Don't be mean to me. I said I'd be nice, and I am. I'm doing this jokingly. Seriously, he knows. He knows. But yeah, he turned off. Hal turned off, and I was like, okay, well, it's one of those Windows problems. It'll probably get fixed when I boot it back up. And I booted it back up, and it was fine. Until maybe about 10 minutes later, he turned off again. This time, not as cleanly, I want to say. There was a big weird graphical glitch that happened. So when I rebooted him for the second time, things didn't look good. If I can get it off Daisy, I will post a picture here. Daisy, by the way, is my tablet. Yes. Purposeful joke. And naming convention and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, that was very disturbing to me. Never happened before. And I kind of was expecting something to happen soon, because Hal is about 7 or 8 years old. I got him maybe a little bit, a month or so, before I even started the channel, and everything inside of him was never changed. I never touched anything inside of his component chassis. I opened him once out to, like, air spray to get the dust out and whatnot once. Otherwise, no, everything was mint in box. Not mint very much, but like I said, if you want to actually look at the specs, if you type in the system, HP Pavilion, whatever, that I said earlier, you can find the entire specs of the computer. Like, HP, pretty good at cataloging their stuff, and that's how I was able to interchange some parts, figure out how to maybe fix HAL. I say maybe because a minor fix would have taken about a couple weeks. This took 2 months, and I will break it down for you as best I can. So, if you did see the picture, then you may think, oh, it's a graphics issue. The graphics card finally killed itself, and previously that graphics card had its problems with running, aka Prey, Dark Souls 2, some problems early on with even Bioshock Infinite, where Emily just kind of floated around things. I thought originally it was kind of charming and whatnot to have some weird glitches here and there, made the Let's Play a little bit more interesting, but once Dark Souls came around, Dark Souls 3 came around, it started becoming a problem. So I was like, okay, I need a new graphics card. This one must have been broken. I'll go buy a new graphics card. With that also being said, the whole turning off the computer thing wouldn't be a graphics card issue. It'd probably be a heatsink issue, so I have to re-thermal paste or whatnot to get that fixed. So I was like, okay, well, might as well get an entirely new heatsink while I'm there too, so I don't get the jet engine noise every 5 minutes or so. Hence why the new videos don't have the noise in the background if you really pay attention. And it's actually really good. So, a week goes by, because we don't use Amazon Prime in this house. And we had first graphics card. Yay! Trying to see it on the camera. Yay! Yeah, it's not the newest thing. I'm going for budgetary here, because I didn't want to get a completely new computer. If I wanted to get a completely new computer, that is $530 up for a new gaming computer, and I didn't want to do that. It's HAL. He's the computer. And when I got a PC to begin with, I knew that, oh, I'll just change parts interlaced through the years anyway, right? So, when I was kind of excited that he needed a new graphics card, boom, found a pretty good one. I will admit, now that he's running and whatnot, games that were problematic before, like Dark Souls 3, XCOM 2, XCOM also Enemy Unknown, that ran super laggy, slow, but playable, they run fine now. It's all good. It's a good graphics card for a budget. I think I got it like on sale of some kind at the. It was marked down at that time. Either way, it's a good graphics card. Wasn't able to use it right away for a very good reason, and we'll get to that. But like I said, I got the boxes all laid here, and I mean boxes. We also got a new heatsink. Nice heatsink, actually. This thing is very slim. There's a few versions of this. This was maybe the cheapest one. I don't remember correctly, because it's been about 2 months since I bought it. But the design is really nice. It makes complete sense why it's made this way. The only small thing that I have a problem with, this is now turned into a tech review episode, by the way, as well as story time with Dark Arts. So, yay. I would recommend these so far out of, you know, the other built-in fan that I had. It's running very nicely, and at the moment, probably because it was newly thermal pasted, it has really no ramp-ups of cooling so far, but time will tell. if that changes. Really nice. There's different models of this. This one was like the slim model slash kind of cheaper. And the only real thing I have problems with is that the fan, I know you can't really see it on probably in the camera here. Here, maybe we can get that. I'm trying to look at the thing at the same time. Okay, that right there. The fan itself is separate from the heatsink, so it needs to be clipped on. That is fiddly as fuck. It is fiddly as fuck. It works in concept-wise, though. I get why it's done. The heatsink is separately. The fan part that plugs in is also separately. But the connection that you have to put it on and do it with makes God no sense at all. No goddamn sense at all. It's fiddly as fuck with the wires and figuring out which way the fan goes. Yeah, but it's a good fan so far. It's working really well. Unfortunately, that only counts for about a week. This is where the fun comes in, where it wasn't the graphics card. Granted, the heatsink would make a small difference, but it's not that either. So I had to do a little bit more figuring out. And I thought, okay, well, when the heatsink failed, maybe it fucked up the processor. Right? Okay. That's why it's still not running. That's why it still has the weird graphics issues thing. So we need a new processor. So, again, looked at the specs of the computer, yada, yada, yada. Another week goes by, and we've got kind of the upgraded version of what I already had. Yay. And for the most part, I don't know what the difference is. Again, not a tech person. I have no idea what the difference is. It just had more cores and was better at what it did. Which is fine. It does fine. I can't tell you what the difference is, but it's fine. Wasn't the problem either, though. Also, that was also pretty cheap. It came also with its own cooler, but it didn't fit on the motherboard. So I was like, okay, good. We're going to keep with the Gremlin. So this put me in a weird situation because now 2 weeks has gone by and I thought this was a 1 week problem fix. So I'm like, okay, I need actual help because the only thing left is either the RAM chips, which are expensive, or the motherboard, which also was expensive. So I'm like, okay, I need help. I need to go do something. I found a guy. He examined my computer, and he told me the diagnosis was motherboard damage. Yeah, Hal had some erosion, other stuff, a couple other things that I can't remember off the top of my head, but nevertheless, the motherboard was... It needed to be replaced. Which, okay. That's fine. Can we get the same motherboard that's in him now? No. Okay, that's not good. It was either way too expensive or not in stock or not being made. Because again, 7 years. Tech changes in so quickly nowadays that this little guy wasn't good. So I had to go shopping for a new motherboard. And with, let's see, another 2.5 weeks of waiting because Amazon was either a right fuck or something weird happened with the shipping or the distribution or something else / 2 phone calls later. And we got this. It's fine. It was the cheap. It was actually, if you look on Amazon, it was the top rated / cheapest motherboard you could find. Which, alright, yay, cheap and good. And for the most part, yeah, it's pretty good. Here's another thing I got. I got a new case too, but I returned it because I'll explain later. So here's the thing I want to tell you, first and foremost, before you go out and buy yourself a motherboard. Two things. One, Hal was a pre-made computer, so all the stuff inside of him fit perfectly. Okay? Everything was wired and fit where it's supposed to be, and I found out real quick how to work inside a computer. Never did any of this kind of stuff. Getting all these tech bits, putting everything in, rewiring, rethermal pasting. First time I ever did it. It's tedious and nerve-wracking because you don't want to screw it up, but it's not as hard as you would think. As long as you go in knowing a little bit of what you should do by Googling a few things, you'll be okay. But yeah, second problem comes from the first problem of Hal being a pre-made. Stuff you buy later on doesn't always fit with pre-made computers. If I had the same motherboard as Hal used to have, there probably wouldn't have been a problem, and I may have been able to save another month's worth of work. By now, I think we're almost at the end of October, going into November, which was not very good, although the vacation time actually was probably well needed for me. Going into this now, though, taking the motherboard, taking the new case, because I assumed the new motherboard wouldn't fit into Hal's old case, which actually the case looked really nice. Weird configurations of flipping things upside down and whatnot. I took all the other stuff and replaced it back into the old case, so new case had to be returned, which was fine. But as of right now, with the motherboard, well, as of right then, and kind of now, with the motherboard, the new one being put in, with some wires that I didn't know exactly where to put them and whatnot, there is currently a wire not plugged in, and a chip that is just dangling in there, kind of off to the side. We'll get to that chip later, but for the most part, and all that kind of stuff, when all the pieces were put in, all the old graphics card, because the new graphics card did some weird things, and the problem was fixed easily, so that's not really part of the problem. Everything ran and whatnot. Hal worked again. So at the end of October, Hal was working. Unfortunately, there was one problem. Well, two problems that arise for the month of November. Problem one. It was stuck in a boot sequence. I didn't know why. And then, again, more Googling later. Oh, it's a new motherboard, but I'm using the old hard drive. The one that has all the drivers and stuff programmed for the old motherboard, trying to work with the new motherboard. It's not compatible. Okay, that's an easy fix. I'll just get a new hard drive. Simple. Blank hard drive in a brand new, never really used motherboard. It should work fine. So I got another terabyte hard drive, so now I got two in there, you know. Yay! More space for videos, because videos take up a lot of fucking space. It didn't work, because, of course it didn't work. It's a blank hard drive. There's nothing programmed into it. But I got an extra terabyte of hard drive, so yay. So, more Googling to go. I had to do some rebooting of stuff, which would be okay if I had a reboot disk. See, because pre-made, and for some reason never given, because Hal was already installed with Windows 7 home Premium? No. Was it Home Premium? I don't remember. It was a specific one. But because HAL was already pre-installed with Windows, and it has the little strip saying what product ID it was on the little sticker in the back, I didn't get a reboot disk. So I wasn't able to like rework Windows for reconfiguration. So another quick Amazon purchase later, and we've got ourselves a reboot disk. Yay! Windows 7 reboot disk. Both for both x32 and x64 systems. Yay! Yeah, and it came with instructions too. Let me actually. Wasn't planning on this one. Where did these guys? Let's take a look here. It's free tech support. Fixedbyfixed.com apparently sent this out, and I want to give them the shout out because their instructions, while kind of old looking, extremely old looking, and printed on paper. Printed on paper here. Step by step, good stuff. Telling you how to reinstall the thing, some steps and whatnot. Wonderful, wonderful tech company. If you got problems like that, I would recommend at least giving it a shot. So, new computer, new setup, new everything. So I had to put the disk in, read some stuff, learned that, oh, you can get your old stuff back with the new thing. So I went through processes. We're not going to get into that. But we got it all fixed. It was all set. Everything from the old computer back on, all the information, some wipes of non-needed installed programs, including Windows Movie Maker, which was very weird, and I learned a lot about why Windows Movie Maker isn't part of Windows systems anymore. It's a thing for later that doesn't need to be talked about. He was working. Kind of. Again, we're now in the mid-ish to November here. So I think two problems arose. I don't remember, again, I don't remember because it was last month, and it was something to do with running something. I don't remember what, so I had to back up the computer entirely on an external hard drive, which I already had because of school. So, yay, I have a complete backup of the old HAL on a hard drive, so if I ever need to do something with that, I can. But I needed also to completely wipe everything off and reboot fresh. Factory reset. Oh, you know what was happening? It was doing some weird booting sequences because, while the instructions were good, there were some weird oddities that just happened, and my nose is itchy. You don't care about that. But for the most part, I had to do an entire factory reset, which, yeah, is scary. But now that he runs, it's fine. I was able to save and move and get all sorts of stuff back and images and videos, so nothing got lost in that respect. Except for, okay, bookmarks and web pages and maybe some game files that weren't saved to cloud, unfortunately. Not a lot, though. There were the couple games that weren't saved to the cloud. Otherwise, fine with game saves, like Dark Souls 3. That didn't get saved to the cloud that doesn't get saved to the cloud, and I'm now I now want to kind of replay that, mostly because it's now looking great and running great, but I've realized I'm terrible at that game. Either way, so that was problem number one that got fixed. That one wasn't too bad. The second problem, remember that chip that I said is now dangling inside the computer, not doing anything. Not the wire. The wire is still unplugged, and I have no idea where that thing goes. I think it goes to the top two USB ports, because they don't work anymore. I don't know where it should be plugged in, but it doesn't work anymore. So, yay. But for some reason, when I booted HAL up, I wasn't getting an internet signal. So I did a little bit of look-see-loo, and it turns out that chip is very important, because it's the Wi-Fi chip, and it's the Wi-Fi Bluetooth chip, right? You kind of need that. Again, pre-made, not knowing. It's a weird piece. Again, if you look up the specs to this guy, that chip, it's in the motherboard, it's got a weird little slot, and now looking at it, knowing like HAL much more intimately than I probably should know any other computer, or any person for that matter, ever, that chip is very important, yet very weird. It was like a weird growth kind of thing that you had no idea what it did, but it was like your spleen, and not your spleen. Your spleen is like pointless. It was like one of your kidneys that was on the outside of your arm. You didn't know why it was there, but it was keeping you alive. So when HAL booted up and he was doing fine, I'm trying to do stuff. Internet wasn't working. Okay, why isn't the internet working? Oh, because the chip's not plugged in. Alright, let's try and plug the... Nope. We're not going to do that. We need an adapter. So I had to go and Google and buy one more thing that I ended up returning because here's a problem. The chip didn't exactly work with the motherboard. Even with the micro PCI slot adapter thing, which, by the way, was a good adapter. It was like again, it was a micro... The chip is like a micro PCI chip like thing, and I got like an adapter to plug into one of the bigger slots, one of the 16-pin or 32-pin. Again, I don't know what any of this means. I'm not a tech person. I am kind of now. I can put together a computer. Yay! But yeah, no, it didn't compute. Was able to plug it in. It read the thing. It read the little connector adapter thing. Didn't read the chip. So it is useless. So I had to return it along with the old case. That was cute, but kind of bad. It's like a Roswell, I think. I don't know. It was like flipped reversed. It was weird thinking about it now, but nevertheless. So, what's the last thing I had to go and purchase? A wireless adapter. Here's what happened. So, we have, yes, a hard internet connection with our cable system and whatnot, and that is all the way down there across the other hall in my mom's bedroom. We have a Wi-Fi signal sending itself out, but with the new Xfinity adapter Wi-Fi thing, it got replaced and whatnot. It's fine. So I had to take HAL from downstairs, where I was doing the surgery, from my room, because I'm fixing it, to the bedroom across the hall, hard plugged it into the Ethernet, and did some Googling, and did some driver update stuff, because, you know, didn't have Wi-Fi, couldn't get the drivers. So that was a problem. That was probably one of the problems why before I had to do the factory reset, thinking of it hindsightly. But either way, I went out, well, not went out, I, again, Amazoned, found a good one, apparently, if you want to read that. I'd say this was good, but the chip was better. Okay? So it did have a little bit of a not throttled, but choked back performance with the chip. it wasn't the strongest connection, and it did have its slow periods at times, probably because the computer was at its age and had so much memory used up. But also, again, distance to the Wi-Fi connection actuality. But it was stable, right? Never dropped unless the internet or power went out, right? This adapter is finicky as fuck. Okay, not as fuck, but it can be a little finicky, okay? First off, the program that tells you what connections there are and whatnot has no guide to it. Absolutely no guide. I have no idea what some of my one of the things they're picking up is like the Wi-Fi signal, and it has this pre-allocated key and numbers and whatnot. A little information would be nice. I'm just saying, it would be a nice ease of use thing for people that don't know what the fuck, okay? Because if I did not label or rename our Wi-Fi signal, I would not have found it at all. At all. No idea. There's like two versions of it too. One that has like a 1 and one like has a 160, 151 thing. I don't know what that means. Okay? Little bit of help with that would be nice. It has a good connection speed though. It is fast. It is downloading really good, especially with the USB 3.0 thing, which honestly, I had no idea what that is. It works nice. It's fine. I like it. But sometimes it just doesn't want to play. It just stops. Or it's having some weird issues. And sure, the signal strength is good, and it's like at 80% connectivity capacity and whatnot. But when you're downloading stuff, it goes down. Probably because I'm downloading stuff. That's probably me. But again, sometimes just intermittently cuts off, so I have to change Wi-Fi signal to the other home thing. It's good if you are closer to your Wi-Fi signal, but if you're that close, just plug it in with an Ethernet adapter. I'm okay with it now. And when I ever get my own apartment and my own stuff, I'm probably going to hard connect to the internet. But for now, it's fine. I've figured out some workarounds. It's fine. Probably should spend a little bit more money on Ethernet, on Wi-Fi adapters. Just saying, in the future. Get like the best. Not like this was okay to price and pretty good for gaming. That's kind of what the things were, I guess, that made me want to buy it. If I had the disposable income, I would have bought a better one. Like a much more expensive, better one. This was like second or third best. I think second best wireless adapter on Amazon. So, I don't know. First best would probably be better. Or, you know, knowing tech people. If I had a friend that was really into tech, this probably would not have gone as long as it did. But again, yeah, that's 2 months. Gone. Absolutely gone. No computer. No internet. No nothing. And for me, that was kind of an interesting purge. Because I'm connected to my computer almost 24/7 here. Most gamers that I know, well, most people are in some way or another. Thankfully, because we upgraded our Xfinity connection thing, we got Netflix for free, which was really nice. It also had a YouTube connection that I had no idea about, so I can now watch YouTube videos on the big screen downstairs, which is really nice. But then I also had Daisy here. Again, naming convention. Proper on point there, but she was able to connect to the Wi-Fi, and I was able to play a couple games that actually I talked about in Card Keepers. I want to say the game was Card Keepers, the first Flash game that came back when I was, you know, back in December, or came back after the blackout. But yeah, no. So that's what happened the last 2 months that I was missing, and holy shit, this video has ran way too long. It's the end of the video now. You can go away. If you kept watching this far, yay for you. You didn't have to. I'm sorry. I did not realize this was almost an hour long. Jesus fuck, I'm glad I'm at least editing a couple bits of this. Either way, thanks for watching. If you cut out, you probably should have cut out after I was done talking about the channel. Why did you keep watching this? Why am I still going? Tomorrow and the day after we'll be having our end of the year game review thing, and that'll be it. I'm done for the end of the year until like the 31st, another Flash game, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sticking with me for the dark period and 2-month hiatus, because that actually went up a tiny bit. A couple subscribers went up. It was weird. But anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Yeah, making this video an actual hour long. New mouse, I would say. This was bought because I had an Amazon gift card and whatnot. It's a new wireless mouse. The old one was kind of going in shit. Acidy fingers, breaking down the plastic and whatnot. This was like, what is this, a Vico whatever? It's an Amazon thing. This thing did more damage to Hal than anything I did to him. Okay? This is not funny. This is bad, but it's kind of funny. Okay? So I had this maybe early this year. Okay? USB plug that big. Alright? And I tried plugging it into the front where the old USB wireless thing went for the old mouse. I'm pointing to here because it's the drawer that I have my old mouse / headphones that my cat ate through. No, those aren't the ones that cat ate through. That's the one where one of the ears is gone and the other is... Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that when I was trying to plug it into the adapter, it just wasn't going. It just wasn't. I was plugging and it was like, it's not fitting. So I was able to plug it into the back and it was working fine. It has some, like, weird delays sometimes when it's, like, trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, when it's asleep and whatnot, and... It's not, in hindsight, don't get it. Get like a proper wireless mouse, or even a connected mouse. I know I don't like the wire is like hits things on your desk and whatnot. I would actually prefer a wired mouse to this at the moment. It's nice. This little button is like mouse speed. The wheel is actually really nice. And then the two little buttons here, pointless. Absolutely pointless. You can't rebind anything in this thing. And that's kind of what I wanted with the little one. The little one had this little extra button that was like you can rebind to the middle mouse button. You can do that. And it actually worked so much better. This thing can't be rebound. It can't be rebound in its own little programming. Don't get it. Don't. It's fine. Don't get it. I think it has like a month's worth of charge time because it plugs into charge. Anyway, the point is that the USB port I had to plug into the back, and it was fine. But then I'm wondering, well, why couldn't I plug it in? So I take it out, and I just tried like shoving it in. It's like, okay, it's getting some resistance, but it's going in, and then suddenly HAL turns off. And I'm like hard shuts off, right? And I'm like, oh, I unplug it. And he turns back on again. I plug it in, turns off. Turns back on again. I look in, and the thing was just big enough where it could fit, but couldn't fit. Whereas the little prongs, the 4 little copper-esque prongs that are in there that connect to other USB devices and whatnot, are now bent backwards, and it's useless. It's fucking broken now. This mouse did more damage to Hal than the entire 2 months he was either open downstairs or all the thermal paste, because I didn't get into how much thermal paste I actually used because of how I had to move and remove the goddamn heatsink to redo the processor and whatnot. It is gooey. It is gooey. Thermal paste is gooey. So, like, that was the most damage. So now, not only are the top two USB ports not usable, which is my fault, sure, I only have one USB port working there, and there's like 2 others in the back that aren't being used. So, fuck you. Fuck you. Hopefully I can find, like, someday, like, pick or something and, like, pull it back or whatnot. But as of right now, that's the most damage he's ever gotten. So, yay for wireless mouse. And now the video's over.